Hello, this is Cheryl Wilson, and I wanted to share with you around 11 small paintings that I have done in a series of a couple days. And I've recorded my steps where I lay down layers and then I go back and I let them dry and I lay down some more. I lay down mixed media. I use alcohol inks. I use coffee. I use tea. I use charcoal. I do sgraffito, all sorts of things. And so I put the montage together for you to just enjoy and maybe learn some new techniques. But I wanted to share this with you and I hope you enjoy it. This is coffee grounds. I just love the lightness of it. Very lightly, just drizzling some coffee on, staining the paper. Okay. This is tea bag. It's got even a lighter stain. There's some darker teas out there, but this is just a lighter stain. Okay, that's just to start. And then the high flows will just add some fun. So this is a spritz of alcohol spray. Kind of just separates. Okay, this is regular water. I'm just going to get some flow there. This is just to give some good color. Again, just covering the paper with color. Here is some quinacridone gold. It's thicker, but it's beautiful. Just adding some of that color to a couple places. Absolutely beautiful color. So to me, art like this, the more minimal that you paint, the more beautiful it is. If you're going to use this as like a separate painting, if you're going to use it as background for like rip this up into like a landscape or something like that, then adding some more color and definition to me is just beautiful. But this was just to kind of show some starting of some fun pieces of art. And a lot more you can do to these. On this painting, it's actually just a piece of paper I had underneath one of the other paintings, and it was the drippings. So I'm using a brayer and I'm just pulling paint from my palette that is left over and using the brayer to put paint lightly onto the piece of paper as a underpainting. And then I'll just keep building on top of that. I want to talk for a moment about texture. Texture is both visual and like tactile. And what I mean by that is you can look at something by this right here is visual because I'm adding layers, and visually you're looking at the underpainting and seeing texture. When you start to add like thicker paint or paper collage, it starts to get to be more tactile. And so texture is really important to have in abstracts. If you want that, you can have a smoother, which is more visual. But if you want to have more of a tactile type of a texture, you're going to, I can show you here how to add some of that into your paintings. At any time, you can stop any of these paintings when you see a composition that you like. Just because I keep going on some of these doesn't mean that my idea of where the painting needs to go is right. If you see a composition or a painting and you like where it is, stop where you are and call it finished. many times by putting a mat over a piece of art that I've done just helps bring it into some sort of visual for me. And sometimes I can see areas that I might want to change, or I might decide I want to stop at that point. This one I actually liked before I added too much to it. So, that's it's a preference thing. But I like the contrast of the different colors. There's a lot going on here, but um, I added a lot to this one. It still was pretty in the end, in my opinion. It again, it's my opinion, and you may look at one of my paintings and say, I don't like that. You may have said, oh, she should have stopped here. You're right. It is each of our own visual. But I have had people buy my paintings that another person would walk in and say, I don't like that composition, I don't like that color. Each painting, there's somebody out there that will like a particular painting. So at some point, it's okay to stop if you like something, or it's okay to keep going because you're experimenting. Okay, we are going to look at our papers that we've been working on for the last couple days. Again, I felt that these, I like these. So at this particular point, I'm not going to do anything more to these because I like these. I like these with a nice matte, and to me, these are done. These are ready. So we're going to put these to the side. And I liked this. This was one that I felt was done with a nice matte. This is my sample matte, so of course it's got some marks on it, but I like this. Matte this and it's done. Maybe go through it later and I may see some more, but at this point this is done. These are some more that I did. I like this one. I may not do anything more to this. Framed with a matte. I like this. So I'm trying to get it right in frame. So that I may put to the side for now. I have others that I can work on. This is, to me, beautiful. I might do a couple more things. I might not. There's so many others in here that I have. See, with it matted, this to me is beautiful. So I may not do anything with this one. I may put this to the side. This is one I definitely need to work on. And what has happened with this one is the composition has gotten off and the tones have gotten off. It's too dark, and while there's some interesting things to look at here, there's too much to look at. So I'm going to work on this one. This, I like the colors, but there's a lot more I could do to this one. So I'm going to work on this one. This is one that I think I might put in the bottom of the pile to work on, because I might lighten up an area to bring in the emphasize. In the middle, I may make this more of a focal point. So this one I may work on. Loving all that's going on here. I might add some collage. I can see some real pretty strips of collage in this one. So I'll put this in the pile to work on. These I love, although I think I could add more interest to those. So put that in the pile. Not loving this one. That goes in the pile. And these are ones I did the other day, so we're not going to work on those. So I've got several here that I can work on, and I might start with this one. So several of the things that you can do, and let me pull the one that has all that color on it. If I wanted to bring out some collage in this one, and stamping in this one. So remember these two when I go through. I make papers all the time, and I just, I can do another video. These are done just regular paper, drawing paper. Some are on watercolor. I do it with a brayer. I do some water, all sorts of things to bring out different colors. I doodle, like if I'm in front of the TV, I doodle making dinner. Here are a couple where I've done on watercolor paper, and then I put like a stain or a glaze on the top to kind of bring out. This is a beautiful piece that can be added somewhere. And then these are just plain papers. Here's just a piece cut out. There's one. I've cut some pieces out. I've done some yellows. This is one where I've done with some graphite. Here's some gray and white, blue, another gray, another blue, and then some plain yellow and some like Indian yellow. So when you take a look at something like this, if you really wanted to push this to another dimension, you could add some collage to that. You could add like a collage. I mean, there's different things you could do. I would just play with it till you got to the point where you're finding something that is starting to, you're going to react to it. So that was why I brought both of those out. So let me put my papers to the side and we'll look at this. Now, some of the things that you can do to make this interesting and make this fun is some of the tools I have. This is an art pen, and it is one of those pens with that real what is it? You know, the pin at the top. It's a real pen, so you can go in and just start making marks, miscellaneous marks. You can add some graffito. Go in, and I love doing dots. So let's add some dots. Kind of pulls the dots up here. Make them random, bring it down into the black where it gets, so we add dots to that. Another thing that is nice, this is this is a stencil that I made. Just cut out some of my favorite colors, favorite shapes. Is I can come over here and add some line work. You can do it with a couple different things, but I'm going to see if I can do it with my sponge. Okay, that adds some interesting marks there. Here's some more. This is a crayon, wax crayon. So this is where you start to fine-tune your paintings to add some interest to it. I can either cut with scissors or I can rip. I like a very organic look, so if you want to just start adding some interest to this, I could add some of the paper to this. Here's an interesting one with some of the same colors where I could just got some marks in it. That's kind of an interesting piece there. Oops, my brush had some red on it. And you know, sometimes those happy accidents. So let's just push that red through. So I'm going to add that. Okay, let's take advantage of that red. Just add some more graphite. I'm feeling like having some drips on this one. So let this strip down. Maybe bring it over. I can stop the drips part way, push some of them back. Okay. You can still see the drips in the underpainting now. So let that dry. So we'll take that and put it to the side and let that dry. All right, our next one. This one's a challenge. And I'm not quite sure if I would add this to add something to this or rip this up, because it's like two different paintings going on here. And I like this up here and I like this down here. So I think on this one I've just solved my problem and I've just ripped. So I've got this down here and I've got this one. I like them separate. And so at some point I would add these to a painting. Now let me see if I can bring in a painting. The way I have this camera set up, this is going to be hard to see, but this is a very large painting and I have added a piece of that collage right to the middle. Let me see if I can show you. This is a very large painting. So if I were to scan it down this way, I've added a piece of collage. So that's why sometimes it's nice to have collage pieces sitting around to add to a already worked painting. This piece right here, like I said, I'm enjoying a lot of the marks, but it's not coming out to be a painting that I am really happy about at this particular point. And sometimes it's okay to let your painting sit for a while. Sometimes the paint and the color that's in the paint will change. A lot of times it will change after you've let it sit. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to cover some of this up here. What I want to do is bring out a focal point on this. I don't get too attached to my paintings because I want to have the freedom and the flexibility to go in and make changes if I feel like doing it. That's the way I've learned. It's taken a risk. Have I sometimes taken it too far? Yes, of course I have. But there are times when I'm done with the painting that I really am happy that I've taken that painting to the next level or the next generation. All right, so I'm liking some of the middle here. bring that down and bring that up. So it just muted down those other areas. All right, this focal point. Let's see. What we may want to do is I'm liking this right in here. That quinacridone gold is very transparent. So it will, the beautiful color as like a glaze. So I kept some of the white down there, but I added some of the quinacridone gold. So I think I may rub some of that over here to tone down the white. Okay. So I'm liking that. I still want to do something with this middle. And what I think I may do is a stencil of some sort, or a piece of collage. So I think this would look nice. Okay. I think I'd like to see some more type of a line work. I use my fingers a lot. Let's see. All right. I need something to take it that way. This really needs to be dry. But let's make sure you're in the frame. Adding some sgraffito. So I'm liking what I'm doing here. It needed a pop of white there. I like the sgraffito. I have a lot of line work going here, so I need to start bringing in more of a little different, like a splatter. Let me see if I can. Okay, I did a little splatter. And I may let that dry because I may bring in some more. In fact, let me see if I can do that. Bring in some more words over top of that. Just a few. Okay, ever so lightly some more wording there. So let's let that dry because I'm starting to like this. I'm starting to like the balance. What I'd like to bring in up here is some circle. Very light circles. So let's let that dry and go to another one. This is another one that I absolutely love the busyness of this, and I'm not quite sure where I would take it other than adding a some collage maybe. I could add some of that. I could add it's kind of interesting, but I'm enjoying this black down in there. I'm really enjoying it's almost like trees. Okay, I'm thinking I'd like to bring in some dots. And I don't really like the dots of the I forget the name of it, but it's kind of interesting. Maybe a larger dot up here. Bubble wrap. That's the word I was trying to think about. I'm in to the painting, so it's difficult for me. That's why a lot of times I do voiceovers, because when I'm painting, I don't think. I mean, I'm thinking about painting. I don't think. I'm thinking about painting. So I'm starting to like this because I'm bringing in, what happened here is I all of a sudden started to see the light color, and it needed that. It needed the contrast. The composition, I liked all this going on, but the composition needed something light. So what I'm doing right here is I am using this natural line that's already here and just adding another layer of white. I'm going to do that over here. Kind of just scruff in some white. I'm filling in. I'm given the line work that I'm enjoying on here ability to be seen. And I'm really liking the fact that these tree type lines are starting to pop. And you know what I'm thinking on this is I think I might like some I have really brought in some additional things that might be good. This is too much, but I'm gonna, here's some tissue paper that I just added dark blots to, and this might be a great piece to tone down some of what I have on here. So let's see. This is kind of messy in here. Let's see what this looks like. What happens when you do tissue paper is the tissue paper becomes transparent and you can still see what's underneath it to some extent. So I like that. I'm also looking for this is another paper. It's just a little too much for that. Here's some music. Now, we may find it's small.
want a longer area. So I'm liking a piece of music. So this is getting very eclectic, but I'm enjoying it. I also have some line work here. Too much. All right. So I'm at the point here where I'm just enjoying this collage piece. It's getting full of stuff, and at this particular point, I like it. So let's let that dry. These blue pieces here, they basically, to me, just need some marks. So they may need let's lighten this up right here. Okay. We can also take our sponge and bring in some lines over there. Okay, let's see what else. Another thing that if you like graffito. Let's see. This is one of the fine line applicators. Do a little graffito on there. So I just brightened up the darkness. Instead of painting, I brightened it up with some additional things. Okay, let's see. This is another one that I don't like. So I could either, again, rip it up, use it for collage and something else, or just go for it and start to do some major trial and error. And sometimes taking the fear because you don't particularly are not in love with something takes the complete fear out of what you're about to do. This is writing copied on copy paper. So just doodle away as much as you want when you're sit in front of the TV or whatever, because you can always use the doodles that you've done. The most important thing is don't be afraid to experiment and try. Because you don't know when you're going to come up with something that you like. So at this point, I'm still not feeling this painting, but I'm not giving up. And I just set these paintings that I may not like to the side until one of these days I'm going to come up with something. It's going to dawn on me and I'm going to like it. Let's see. So not every painting that I do turns out for a while. There's a lot of times I have to take paintings and put them in the corner, that's what I call them. This is almost like a letter on a day that you're feeling like you need a haircut, you need your hair colored. It's a letter to yourself that it's all going to really work out. And it's important for especially new artists to see that not every piece of artwork is going to work out every time. I almost like the fact that that is so off the beaten path. I had yellow on my brush to do this right here. So that's where this is going. And at some point, I'm going to like it. All right. So this one I'm going to let sit. I like it better than when I started. Is it there yet? No, I don't like it yet. So we have this one, which I'm actually liking a lot of this. I just need to brighten it up. So I can brighten it up with some white sponge marks. I already have some dots on there. There's just a lot of interest through here, layers and layers, that I think is interesting. So what I may do is just add some sgraffito to this, because sometimes I do the sgraffito and then I'll rub some of it out. And there's one more thing. I'd like to add to this one. And that's some more of my dots. So let's okay. And this is turning out fun. So I'm okay with this. And I'm okay with this. Let's see if we can find a white mat. Or let's put a black mat. And to me, it's just be nice just like that without adding a lot of different stuff. So there we go.
So I know this was an extra long video, and I know not all of it was probably 100% interesting to you, but I hope as you look at this montage of different paintings I've done, that you'll find something in here that has given you some inspiration to jump in and paint. Some of these I actually learned some marks that I know I will use in my large paintings. Some of these I will actually frame because I love them as they are. Some of them I will rip up and use as collage in other paintings. Some of them I'll just look at because they were fun to make, and I love looking back at my old papers to remind myself. Sometimes I'll turn them over, like especially the ones I did the coffee and the tea. I'll turn them over and write down some of the marks I did on them, like when I used the fountain pen and the coffee, just to remember what I did down the road when I want to add a certain look to my painting. So give me comments. I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. But I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I just want to thank you for watching.